Hello, everybody. What is up? Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Friday live stream. I hope you all are doing well. I'm going to technically get the Bandida camera set up, but she is nowhere near the actual camera, so that's going to be a little difficult. Bambini, you are so far away. You are so far away. How are you somehow not anywhere near the radius of this, huh? How are you just not anywhere even a little bit close? How about I move you? Would that be okay? Can I move you just a little bit? Just go boop, 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 boop. How are you still not on camera? That's crazy. You're just like, are you a ghost? Do I have a ghost dog? I don't know. Go lay down, sweetie. Go lay down. Oh my goodness. Anyways, I'll deal with that as the need arises. Anyways, hi everyone. Happy Friday. Hope you all are doing well. It has been a crazy week. Oh my goodness. We have so much to talk about, so much to catch up on. I am in the midst of planning like the most, I don't even know. I've over obligated myself, honestly. I'm going to be doing a lot of stuff in the next 2 weeks. Bandida has laid down. Success. The majestic creature has decided to get comfortable. It's going to be like Primal Central. Okay, so at the top here, this is not like any kind of like actual endorsement. I'm not associated with this event at all. Nothing of the sort. So I just want to let people know, because there's still tickets available. There is a camp that is happening in Northern California in about exactly 2 weeks. It's called Thornwood. And I'm going to be there, and I'm going to be organizing a bunch of different Primal Play activities. I'm going to be doing a meetup and a discussion group. I'm going to help organize a hunt. I'm going to help organize a den invasion, capture the flag type scenario. I don't know what that's going to look like exactly. I have lots of plans for lots of things. It's going to be a really fun time. You don't even necessarily need to have camping gear. They do have lodge rooms available, so you can bunk with other people. So you don't necessarily even have to be camping outside if you don't want to be. There's options to not do that. I think they also have some like luxury individual like duo tents still available as well. So if you want to check it out, it's our first year doing it. I say our like it's mine. I'm not associated with them at all. It's the first year it's happening. And I'm really, really excited about it. And it is full of Primal players. It is full of people who like doing kink outdoors. So if that is your thing, maybe go check that out. I'm just saying. I think that it would be a fun time. About an hour ago, my Dama, my best friend, agreed to become my life partner. That's so exciting, Henry. Congratulations. Oh, and thank you. Thank you, Sean. I appreciate it. Thank you so much for the super chat. Okay. I saw the capture the flag. I might have a great time there. I am going to try my best. Some of this I've done before, some of it I haven't. So it's going to be a learning process for me as much as anybody else. But thank you so much to Sean for starting off the stream on a positive note. So if you haven't been here before, I will get into my little spiel. This is an 18 plus only live stream, which you can see right down there. That is for your safety, my safety, everyone's safety, because here on the stream, we talk about adult topics like kink and BDSM and relationships and dating and polyamory and human sexuality and things that the government is trying to censor. So I especially really right now want to make sure that there is a firm line between minors and adults. And I don't educate minors. I don't want minors in my audience. When you do turn 18, feel free to come back, but don't participate in the stream until you're at least 18. For everyone's well-being. Also, read the rules and the FAQ down below, because we do have answers and links to answers to commonly asked questions. Mostly what you need to know is don't spam the chat. I answer questions in the order they come in, so if you want to make sure you get to your question, I recommend asking it early, but do not spam the chat. If you put in the same question 5 times in a row, I will probably not answer it because it will make me grumpy. So just be aware of that. But I will give people an option at the end of the stream in the last like 15 minutes or so to put in a question again. If I didn't answer it, you get a second chance to ask it again. With YouTube chat, it doesn't always keep really good track of questions. Like it doesn't I don't know why, but YouTube, there's a maximum amount you can like scroll back in the chat history of a live stream. And so I usually end up hitting that like kind of like halfway through the stream. So if you want to make sure I get to your question, ask it early and then ask it at the end. And you want to make sure it gets saved, and I will definitely 100% see it. The best way to do that is with a super chat. You can use that either through a YouTube link, like what I have set up right here. Like you can do it through the chat, or you can do it through Streamlabs, which is down below. Either way, it'll highlight your question on stream, and then it might even read it out loud for you, depending on which way you do it. If you do it through Streamlabs, it'll read out the question as well, and then I'll answer it right away. So that is that on that, more or less. And Sean got us off to a great start by doing a membership. 10 memberships, which is very awesome. And the memberships are very simple. It basically means you get a cute little badge next to your name, and then you also get access to our special emotes that I had designed just for this chat, and they are very cute, and I love them, and they're adorable, and they're funny, and they have me drinking out of my giant purple water bottle, which currently has fruit punch creatine in it, and magnesium, because that's the kind of life I live. And anyways, yes, I didn't know you did streams. I stream every week on Fridays. I stream not even just here. Yes, Spudsy, I stream on Fridays here on YouTube. I stream on Tuesdays for Patreon. We do a Patreon stream where I react to YouTube content, and we shoot the breeze and talk about the best thing to order from Taco Bell and what it was like being on the internet in the 90s, and I don't know, other such fun and interesting topics. We watched a music video last time. We talk about the perils of what happens when no-fault divorce is no longer allowed. Hint, it ends up with men being poisoned, and how you probably shouldn't want that to happen. So there you go. That's my advertisement for the Tuesday streams. And then on Monday, I stream on Twitch, and we play video games. And we're currently playing Claire Obscure Expedition 33, which is actually a very fun video game that I'm very excited to have played. I've played similar games to it. I've played a lot of Final Fantasy. I've watched other people play FromSoft games, and I've played quite a bit of like turn-based combat games, and I've played a little bit, like a couple hours of like Persona 5. So that's my knowledge of it, and it's been a really fun time, so I'm glad I got to experience that. And my favorite game is probably Claire Obscure. You've probably never heard of it. Yeah. I was like, Lexi, you didn't really like that kind of game, and then I understood the joke that was being made. Yes. It's so obscure, you've probably never heard of it. Do hipsters still exist? Is there like a Gen Z equivalent of a hipster? Is that a thing that happens still? I sort of feel like everyone's kind of that way now. I never saw you live. Our time zones are just so different. This is legit the first time I've ever seen you doing live. I have to stay on top of your content more. My mind is blown. Well, Spudsy, what's it even? Please, if you have questions you've been holding on to, please put them in the chat. I would be so excited to answer them. You've been waiting for so long for something you didn't even know is happening. Oh my gosh. I think it's Carol. Carol. I'm not sure. I'm going to say Carol. Carol also gifted 10 more memberships and also became a member themselves. Thank you so much. You all are being so generous in the chat. Oh my goodness. I have the game on vinyl. Yes, exactly. Oh my gosh. Thank you. Starting off strong on this stream. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. It's like Elden Ring without the massive grind to get combat not to totally suck. Well, I did get defeated by a sentient trumpet last time I played the game. So, I don't know. The thing that's hard about the game is figuring out the dodge mechanic and the parry mechanic. Because each enemy has its own attack pattern. And, like, there's such a narrow window that there's not any clear indication of like when the right time to dodge is, other than just trial and error of learning when is too soon and when's too late and when's like the right time and like visually what that looks like. I am sure that eventually in like the next year there's going to be speedrunners who figure out the exact frame that will get you a perfect dodge every single time, and then I will draw from their skills and then I will know. Yeah. Welcome to the club and high five on memberships. Yes, thank you so much, Sean. Thank you, thank you. Okay. All the trumpet, Mambo number 5, exactly. Yeah, I've been defeated by the sentient evil form of the song Mambo number 5, which I loved as a child, by the way. The Disney version of Mambo number 5. I didn't even realize there was an adult version. I thought it was just a Disney song as a kid. All right, let's get into some questions. And then, as always, the title of this stream are just some examples of things we can talk about, because I've been planning a lot of Primal play stuff. I've been planning a lot of like pet play, outdoor play kind of things. And oh God, Jesus Christ. All right. I don't know why. I have to literally stop doing this. I've been making really, really long videos back to back to back. Like I'm a fucking video essayist who makes like one video every month, and it's not sustainable. I am currently in the middle of editing the longest video I have ever made. It is an hour and 20 minutes long. It is so detailed. It is so dense. It is taking me forever to edit. I'm going to make myself have it out by Sunday. Like, it's going to be out by Sunday, but it's been such a slog. But now I feel like I need to talk about, if you've seen me on Twitter, everything I've been posting for the last like week has basically been about this. But there's been a ton of censorship online. Like if like with video games, with Spotify, with everything in the UK, the whole internet over there, like every world government in the West, from the EU, the UK, Australia, the US, I'm assuming probably Canada, because of, at least what they say, because of payment processors, they have cracked down on any kind of like, not even like Spotify is Spotify, unless you're counting like, I don't know, rap music. What adult content is on there? So they're making it so you have to age verify everything. They're trying to implement facial identification stuff, and they're really, really trying to make it difficult to use VPNs. And it's really concerning where this is going, because seemingly, like, okay, we already know that websites are not good at securely storing our data, because there are constantly little things in the news about data breach from this, data breach from that. And even if it's a website that you haven't used for like 20 years, they still have your data on there. And so if we're going to give Facebook, YouTube, Spotify, Gmail, Google itself, like every social media platform, every website you use on a regular basis, your streaming services, your music platforms, if all of them are going to have copies of your identifying information on them, I don't know about y'all. I don't want FetLife to have a copy of like my photo ID stored somewhere. Because I don't want to, like, imagine what this means for security for just everybody. Like, it could be content creators, celebrities, but even just, like, normal people. If you're trying to, like, I don't know, hide your identity from a stalker. Or maybe you're, like, an OnlyFans model, and you don't want that to be connected to your actual legal name and home address. Well, now that OnlyFans has to have copies of all that stuff, suddenly if there's a data breach, that just becomes so much more risky. So anyways, I feel obligated to make a video about that. It's probably not going to be super long. It's not going to be very detailed, because I'm sure there's going to be other people on YouTube who cover it in more detail from like a legal perspective. I can only imagine that Legal Eagle is like sitting on his floor right now having a fucking meltdown about this, like losing yet more faith in the American justice system, so if that's even possible. So I'm gonna probably wait for other people to cover it in more detail. But if you like honestly, all right, like, just to be totally clear for everyone, if you have a piece of media that you like that is currently only available on the internet, it'd be like a weird, obscure movie. If you like music, I'm not saying to commit piracy, but I am saying find a way to be able to access that in the future. And you use your own judgment of what I mean by that. Now, something that I can give you explicit consent to do is it is okay if you would like to download my YouTube videos. Don't repost them anywhere, okay? Don't put them on fucking Pornhub or wherever. Just if you have videos of mine that are like mind-blowing, that changed my life, I want to make sure I can watch it forever, like, download my videos if you want to. I have backups of all of my videos on external hard drives. I have it saved on the cloud as well. So, like, I have multiple backups of my videos. But if you would like a copy for yourself, it is okay by me. If you want to download my YouTube videos, if you want to download videos I made like 8 years ago, go for it. That's okay. I genuinely don't know what to do with YouTube once the ID is required for it. I'm on here so long and I'm worried about it. I mean, I don't think it's going to immediately be a problem. I don't think it's even going to be a problem for me as a content creator, because necessarily based on what's currently happening, just because 99.8% of my audience is already 18 plus, so it's not going to affect me too much. At least, again, based on what it currently looks like might be happening at some point in the future. I just worry about long-term safety, and I worry about people who need a higher level of privacy, and I don't trust these companies.
And Dickman donated
I barely
$10.
trust them with my credit card information when I have to give it to them. I don't want to trust them with like photocopies of my ID and like facial recognition technology and all the rest. So. Looking for advice when dealing with burnout. I'm constantly going back to square one. When it comes to partners, it's exhausting. Okay, yes. Good question. Burnout is a difficult one because I think there's like many sort of like therapy speak words. It's acquired a different vernacular meaning versus maybe the more original like therapeutic meaning of the term. And I think that actual burnout, like work, by actual burnout, I mean like kind of the original definition of burnout version of it, requires probably a different approach from like looking at it from another way, where it's just like, I'm fucking tired of having to go through this all the time, which is more the read I get from what you're saying is like, I am burned out and having to start from square one over and over again. It's really frustrating and it's like wearing me down emotionally. And the advice that I would give for that is, I think it's always okay to take a step back. And I haven't had this exact thing happen, but it's something that I go through like when I'm on dating apps, right? Like, I know, shocking, I'm a woman on dating apps, and you'd think that I have, oh my gosh, all this luck, pick of the litter, blah, blah, blah. But I'm so niche and so specific with what I'm looking for in a partner that actually don't really have a lot of people that I'm compatible with that I can find on dating apps. So I end up like running out of people at some point. And so when that happens for me, if I'm noticing that I'm like going on dating apps and I'm having trouble matching with people that like meet my criteria, and it's getting really demoralizing not to find anybody that I seem even a little bit compatible with that I could have a conversation with, and that's wearing me down and it's causing me to like think negatively about myself or like have a lot of anxiety about my future, I will just like totally take a step back. Like I'll delete the apps, I'll log out of things, and I'll consciously decide to take a break for like a couple of months and focus on other things. But that's easier said than done because human beings, we have physical touch needs. We need to be in social settings with other human beings, right? So if you're looking for companionship because you need to have your physical touch needs met, I'm just saying like taking a step back, like that's easier said than done, because it's like, well, but then like what am I supposed to do? Just be like totally lonely for however long until I decide to like try again? Like that's gonna fucking suck. And it does. And so if you're in a position where like that's not working for you, I would also think about like, okay, what am I looking for in a partner? What do I want out of a relationship? And what are aspects of that maybe if I'm not actively looking for a partner, can I like find somewhere else or like with other people? Whether it be kind of, I want a sense of community. Are there other options for finding community with other people? I want companionship and I want friendship. Are there other ways of making friends with people? Are there other groups of people? Maybe you're not looking for an intimate connection, but you're looking to have people that you relate to. Like, it could be like, these kind of general like examples of things you could do, but like it's Portland, a lot of people love karaoke, right? Like doing open karaoke nights with people, board game nights, joining a band if you play an instrument. There's all like I just had an idea in my head and I just like totally lost it. Any kind of like nerd hobby interest group, especially now that it's the summertime and a lot of people are going on and doing a lot of things. I think what makes partner burnout happen more often is when we're looking at partnerships as a way to meet all of our, or most of our, emotional and physical needs. And then when you're able to meet that through other people, through friendships and through being in community, there's a lot less pressure on finding partners. So it's easier to make things work with people that are available to you at that time. And like when there's just less pressure on relationships, it generally makes the relationships last longer and work better. Yeah. Yeah, I hate that the IDs are going to be required for everything, yeah. Oh, no. You definitely don't need to pay to get a question answered. Oh, no. So that is just, it's the priority lane. You get in the fast lane. You're in the, I forget what Disney calls it, right? You're in the, you're in the fast lane. I think actually it's called the fast lane. So you get the fast pass if you do a super chat. But I go in the order that people ask, which just seems to be the fairest way to do it as far as I can tell. So you don't have to pay, but if you want to get an answer right away and you want to make sure that I answer it, that's what super chats are for. Super chats are for, and you can donate any dollar amount. It could be literally $1 if you want to. There's no obligation to donate anything if you don't want to. But yeah, the burnout's really hard, and I feel that fucking sucks. I'm really sorry. And yeah, I'm really sorry you're going through that. And if anyone else has any advice for friendship breakups and burnout, I would love to share it in the chat. Anyways, okay. The fuck was that? Sounded like a drill bit outside of my apartment. I'm gonna just hope that no one's trying to take the hinges off of my door right now from the outside somehow. I don't even know how that would happen. The HOV lane? Yeah, it's the HOV lane. Oh my god, there's like crazy condensation all over my water bottle right now. What the fuck? I'm gonna put that on the floor. My water bottle's like doing non-consensual water sports with me, and I don't like it. Ugh. I don't like cold. I'm a baby. Yeah, lightning lane. Frame skip the chat. Yeah. All right, more questions. We're going in order. Thank you, Nathan, and I hope that gave you a little bit of something to think about at least. Time is coming for the Bandida camp. She's so fluffy. My chihuahua was a short hair. I like long hair chihuahuas. I think they're really cute. I think people hate them unfairly and they get a bad rap for no reason. I also like little toy poodles, especially the Japanese toy poodles where they got kind of like a fluffier cut. I think those are really cute. And Pekingese. Pekingese are probably like my second favorite dog after Pomeranians. Like, they just look like, listen, do I not seem like the kind of woman that would own a black Pekingese? Like, come on, they look like a mop. They look like they belong in the Addams family. How could I not love a Pekingese? No, the stream is live currently. It is. I know, it's hard to believe. It's already that time. Today is just rushed on by, I'll tell you what. I will tell you what. Glad you could make it to the live stream, Galittle. It has been a while. Thanks for joining us. Now, the camp is in an amazing part of the country, but it's too many people for me, and if I wasn't going with somebody, I'd just feel left out. Oh, fair. Yeah, the Thornwood camp I'm going to in August is in the Sierra Nevadas. It's like a 3.5-4 hour drive from San Francisco. Maybe more or less, depending on traffic. And I'm really excited about it. However, it is going to be in the 90s during the daytime and in the 50s at night. And I've not been in that part of the country at all. I've driven through it, but I've never lived there before. So it's going to be a new experience for me. I am excited about it, though, but I'm a little anxious. Good timing on the motorcycle outside. I proposed at the nerd bar we met at, got down on one knee, which hurt because of my knee, and presented her with a necklace in front of a surprise group of friends. Oh, Henry, that's so sweet. Aww. I love when people do proposals in, like, meaningful places for their partners. Like, I think it's nice to do it in, like, a scenic locale where you can get nice photos, but there is something that's really special about, like, where it's, like, just, like a loop. Oh, it's so romantic. That just feeds my poor little romantic soul. That's very sweet. Saturno. Hello, good night, everyone. How to introduce someone to BDSM? Well, Saturno. Or Saturno. I'm going to go with Saturno, because that's what I like to say. I have a whole video about this, where I talk about the best way to introduce yourself. Best way to introduce partner. Blah. Wow, I cannot talk. Okay. Fucking take 3. How do you introduce someone to BDSM? This is how you do it. All right. Speed round explanation. That's not a 20-minute long video. Is number 1, you gauge interest using non-committal exploratory questions. That could be asking questions, that could be sharing media or memes, especially if you're somebody where your relationship, you do a lot of little like pebble throwing where you like share YouTube videos and memes and Instagram reels. It's real easy just to like toss one in there that has some kinky stuff in it. Like, oh my gosh, can't believe I saw this. Like, I see all kinds of Instagram reels. Like, I saw one yesterday that was like, when a girl bites you, she has permanently marked her territory and your soul belongs to her forever. Don't ask questions about why that's in my Instagram reel, like, For You page. It just is. And that would be like a perfect kind of one to send to a partner, just to kind of just toss it out there a little bit of like, here's something that's a little bit kinky, see their reaction. Are they disgusted by it? If they are, do not proceed. At least without a lot of caveats. And a lot of risk-taking being something that you're okay with. And if they're like, oh, that's interesting, or they have any kind of like neutral to positive response, then you further that conversation. You ask follow-up questions. You talk to them about like, oh, what did you find interesting about that? Or like, why did you find that so funny? Or like, you know, I know this is funny, but also it might be kind of fun to try sometime. Like, you just kind of, without putting any personal stakes associated with it, you're not confessing anything from the depth of your soul. You're just gently tossing out an idea and then seeing how they react to the idea. And if they're positive, you keep going. And then as you have conversations about this, as they seem, you know, to open up a little bit, if they maybe they say something like, you know, I've never really thought about it before, but that could be fun. Or, you know, haha, actually, I used to like this idea, you know, when I was in high school or something. If they give you a little bit, then you can give a little bit back. And then that's when you really start to open up about how, like, especially if you have a particular kink that you're curious about, like if you're maybe into the idea of like bondage or spanking, try to find something that's like related to the particular thing that's most important to you. And then you can toss it out there that like, actually, I think it would be really fun if we got to maybe try this. This is something that you're open to. Again, not confessing from the depth of your soul, not making it a really high stakes, I need this or the relationship is going to be over. I think it's most positive to approach BDSM as an additive thing for your relationship. Not a like a, this is an inflection point where either we do this or there's no relationship, because either that's going to cause a breakup, or somebody's going to feel coerced into saying yes to something because they're too afraid of losing their relationship. Whereas if you just go like, this could be fun to try sometime, then it could just be fun to try sometime, and it's less risky for them to say no, which means you're more likely to get an honest answer, which is what we ultimately want. So not putting any pressure on them, not making it a high stakes thing. And then as you have conversations about this, you can open up more, you can share more things. You ask them questions about if they have anything that they're into, if they've explored this before, if they have previous experience. You can talk about your experience and your desires. It's likely at some point in this that you're going to figure out that your partner is also secretly kinky, or that they're vanilla, but either they're happy to go along with it or they're not, and then you'll just cross that bridge when you get there. But that's kind of roughly the outline of what to do to introduce BDSM to somebody. If you're in a relationship with them and you want to do kink with them, that is the most likely to give you the most honest responses, that is the least likely to blow up your relationship. Because if at any point somebody gives you a hard no, where they're like, this is not my thing, this is disgusting, I think people who do kink are gross, and like, why do you need all that just to be able to get off, it's degrading to women, blah, 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 blah. Like, that's a no for me. If you're a really stubborn person and you're like, I think I can change their mind to be my guest, but I would not advise trying to talk to somebody, like, especially if it's somebody who has like childhood trauma or like trauma from past relationships or like bad experiences, like, you know, 10 years ago, an ex-boyfriend tried to like choke them during sex and it freaked them out really bad and they never want to do it again. Like, if they've had past negative experiences, especially on a personal level, they are not necessarily going to want to hear any arguments you have to make about kink being consensual or kink being about fulfilling both people's desires in a mutual way, blah, blah, blah. Like, people are just not going to listen to those arguments if they're not open to hearing them. So just don't bark up that tree. You can just tell, oh, that's the wrong tree. I'm just going to not go any further, and then just not waste the emotional energy doing something that's not really going to ultimately be productive. Because ultimately what that could end up doing is not convincing your partner to try something, they're going to feel like, oh, more evidence that kinky people are just coercive and can't hear a no, right? And like, don't do that. I don't want anyone to behave that way. I don't want kinky people to have the reputation. If somebody's giving you a soft no by telling you that they think something is disgusting, especially because disgust, if disgust is the hardest one to work with. If somebody's like, I have shame around this, or it makes me a little bit uncomfortable, or I'm afraid of what it could do to our relationship, those are all things that are workable. But a visceral, deep disgust reaction, that's going to be a big mountain to work through. And at that point, if you're getting a disgust reaction, if it's at any level of strength, if you're going to be able to work through it enough to get your needs met, it's probably going to have to be something that comes out of some intentional couples therapy and them wanting to work on that disgust reaction as well, which, because of the nature of a disgust reaction, not very many people are willing to sit and untangle that and change their mind about something. Is it just about your 3rd anniversary of you adopting Bandida? Oh no, it's been like 5 years. I'm trying to remember, I got her the year before the pandemic. I think I got her the summer of 2019. So it actually might be 6 years. But her adoption anniversary is actually today. You are right, it is August 1st. So can I put a gold sticker in the chat for the Bandida adoptiversary? I wish I could give her something, but her tummy is so sensitive that I can't really give her any like special treats or anything now. It's kind of sad when she's got a little sensitive tummy. So unfortunately, no hamburger or popcorn for her at the moment. But yeah, it's her adoption anniversary. You're right on the money. And her birthday is March 1st. So yeah. I might have actually wait, on Instagram, I can figure this out. I have a post of like from right after I got her. I can figure this out where I like introduced her. It was 2019. Okay. Oh my god. Oh my, look at her. Look at this baby. I mean, is she really so different? She's a lot fluffier now. This is after she just had babies like 2 months before. So she was like losing a lot of hair from hormonal changes. So look at her, beautiful. not much has changed. Oh, my sweet Bandidi. So sweet. Love her. No, you're all good. No. I don't expect anyone to remember how many years I've had a dog, except for me. Yes, her adoptiversary. Happy adoptiversary to Bandida and her sensitive Pisces stomach. Yeah, is that what it is? Is it the Pisces? Maybe. Everyone I know who's a Pisces does have a weak stomach, so they might be onto something there. Fish aren't meant to eat a whole lot of different things, I guess. It is a Bandida celebration, exactly. I was going through old photos from an old phone today and unearthed some incredible sentimental lore. I found photos from the day I met my husband and Dom for the first time. Oh, Lexi, please print those out. Wait, no, wait. Okay, do you know this? Okay, this is like a great gift idea if you don't have one of these. This is like, if you're anyone who loves like memories, this is so perfect. And they come up with different versions of this, so I don't know what the most recent one is, but like a Polaroid printer. That's definitely how you spell that. Like the Fujifilm Instax ones. You can get them like on eBay for like 50, 60 bucks. But they keep making new ones and then they keep discontinuing the old ones and it's real frustrating. I don't know if the technology is any better, but if you ever find like you can connect them to your phone. And so even if you have stuff that you've never had printed out before, that's not like, not on film, you can print it out and have it on a Polaroid, which I think is a great little memory thing just to keep for like giving to a partner for like a big anniversary or something, like a 5-year or 10-year or 15-year anniversary, to be like, here's a little memory book of like 15 years of memories of us together, which I think is so precious. So yeah, that's my go-to. That's my go-to for gifts for people. Any advice for getting into primal play or pet play specifically? I want to get into being a puppy, but I'm kind of struggling with being submissive in general. So actually, I think maybe the best way for you to get into puppy play, especially if you're not sure if you want to be submissive in particular, is to go to a mosh. Moshes are generally for puppies, though similar things exist as meetups for ponies and in a more general pet play way as well for all different kinds of pets. But moshes are most associated with puppies. Try to find a mosh where you live, or some kind of pet play meetup, or like a pet play night at a dungeon. And that is usually just like peer play. Like you're just hanging out with other puppies. You're playing with toys. Maybe somebody brings like a laser pointer. There might be treats. There might be little like maybe bowls or something that people can leave like little snacks in for you to munch on. And that's a great way of just getting into the puppy headspace and directly learning from other people of how they are a puppy and what they're doing in a non-judgmental space. Because everyone is a puppy a little bit differently. Different people vocalize differently. They have different kinds of outfits. It's not weird at all if you show up to a mosh and you have like no gear. I would recommend having like knee pads probably if you're going to be on all fours. But even if you don't have anything, you don't have any experience at all, you can just show up and have fun. I think that's a great way of trying it. And it's really freeing. Like it's kind of like, you know, it can be a little bit overwhelming. Like it is kind of like jumping off and going into the deep end, but it's not the deep end that requires you to like negotiate a one-on-one scene. Like you're just there for fun and you get to play for however long you want. There's no obligation to do anything you don't want to do. And then when you're done, you're done. And that's it. So that probably would be my gateway into doing this. And you don't ever have to be a submissive or an S-type and be a puppy at the same time. There's dominant puppies. There's puppies who switch. You can just do animal roleplay for yourself as like a fun solo activity if you want to. So even if you're not in a submissive headspace while you do it, if you want to explore being a puppy, you definitely can still do that. I feel like March is a good month for a birthday just because not very many people have March birthdays. I have a Polaroid camera. I keep pictures of me and my partner in my wallet. They're some of my favorite pictures ever. Oh, that's so precious, Egg. See, there you go. That's a good one. That's one of the good reasons for it. Just keep a little. I have ones of Bandit that I keep with me. And I've been meaning to get one of these printers for myself because I have an old one, but it hasn't worked in a couple of years because they just get bricked after a while, I suppose. And I wanted to print out more new ones of, you know, people in my life, and I just haven't had the opportunity to. True, yeah. It also, that's a good follow-up. Yeah, if you're into Primal, you might identify as like a wilder animal, and submissiveness looks different in wilder pets. Yeah, like instead of a puppy, like you'd be a wolf or a bear cub or a cheetah, any old thing. You'd be a made-up animal, a fantasy animal. You could be a jackalope, you could be a phoenix, you could be a dragon. You could be any old thing you want to be. Is there a way to figure it out without being around others? My town is very small and very religious. Fair enough. Yeah, if you don't want to go out and go to the big city or have anyone ask questions about, oh, what are you doing this weekend? And you don't want to have to say, I'm going to go to the gay bar in the next big town over. Yeah, fair enough. I would say probably the best way to do it, and the things that like I've done for myself when I've explored stuff solo, is to like, all right, this is a little odd, it's a little off the wall, but you're gonna stay with me. All right, it's gonna seem weird. I would take yourself to the pet store. It doesn't have to be the nice pet store. It could just be any old pet store that I like supporting local small business and boutiques, if that's an option. And just like take yourself shopping around the pet store and just pick up a couple things that interest you. Whether it's like a couple of cat toys or a really cute looking stuffy. Obviously don't consume dog food. Don't buy like actual dog treats and dog food. Although they do, if you're going to a real highfalutin boutique, they might have some dog treats that are also human safe, so you can like share them with your dog. So there are things you can do. Even like canned pumpkin or like peanut butter. They at the dog store, they'll sell like, dog safe, BPA free, additive free canned pumpkin and peanut butter the dogs can eat. So you can even get like maybe some of those if you wanted to experiment with that. Just pick out like 2 to 3 things that really pique your interest. And then just set aside some time, when you can be home alone in a room by yourself, door closed. If you can either have something on like a TV or laptop or a phone that can maybe put on one of those like dog sensory channels. where they do like TV for dogs, 24/7 live stream of like, different dog parks and nature and like, it's all different ones out there. Some of them are like other dogs, some of them are parks, some of them are general nature, like squirrels and bunnies and birds and things that, dogs and cats find interesting to look at, I guess, if they're the kinds of animals that watch television. And just kind of put that on in the background. And then just like give yourself the opportunity to play with some stuff. Like if you want to play with a toy, just like get on all fours, then just see how it feels to kind of like bat it around for a little bit, or like keep it in your mouth and chew on it, or carry it around in your mouth. If you want to try eating like a kind of like a dog treat, like some peanut butter, a little bit of canned pumpkin, you don't even have to have a dog bowl. You can just have like a small plate and put it on the ground and then just see what it feels like to try to eat off of the plate. Same thing with a water dish, potentially. You could do something similar with that. And just like I think it's most important to be in a space of non-judgment where you're just allowing yourself to free associate, not think about anything in particular, and just let it happen, let it be, and let whatever comes up come up. Like maybe you're the kind of dog where you like see a new toy and you like bark at it a little bit, or you thrash it around. Like, are you one of the kinds of dogs where you want to like destroy the toy as quickly as possible, or do you like gently hold it in your mouth and carry it around and try to protect it? Like, just really experiment, see what works for you, and whatever comes up that feels authentic is like the right answer. It doesn't have to be exactly what you think a bio dog would do. It doesn't have to be what you've seen other dogs do in the past, because you're not a bio dog. You're not trying to perfectly replicate bio dog behavior. You're trying to figure out what in you associate with letting out that part of your side animal wise, and seeing what that ends up manifesting into. Manifesting. What am I talking about? Is Primal play just animals, or is it human too? It can also be humanoid. So I've talked about this in the videos that I've made on like predator prey, for example. Most commonly people talk about primal play as being like a subset of animal role play, where each of the players in it, or however many people are doing a scene together, take on an aspect of a specific animal while they're playing. But you absolutely don't have to do it that way. You can do, and even with, you can be a human pet too. You don't have to even necessarily be like a puppy or a kitten or anything. Usually human pet play is more DS centered, if I had to make a judgment call on that. But human primal play is absolutely a thing, because primal play is about, people will say like following your instincts. I actually have like a really like detailed, written out, like precise definition of what I think it is more accurately, but kind of just for quickness at this present moment, I will say like it's about following your instinct. And for some people that looks like following your instinct through inspiration by sort of an archetypal understanding of different animals, or that can mean going inside of yourself and connecting with some kind of ancestral quality of humanity and following kind of those like ancient like biological drives and urges. So yeah, you definitely don't have to identify with any specific animal, human, non-human, made up animal, mythical creature, hybrid animal, or just, cat, dog, bear, mouse, chicken, whatever you feel like. It's all something that you can do for sure. Yeah, there's TV for dogs and cats, high-end dog treats and stuff. Yes, exactly. That's all stuff that you can experiment with and then see if it works for you. Yeah, having a partner you can live your dream life with. I mean, it is the dream, or at least for a lot of people. Not everyone wants that kind of thing in their life, but some people do. For future use, we've discussed having a crate full of pet play items, and just the idea of seeing the crate there in the room and knowing what it's for makes me so warm and happy. Oh, that's so sweet. And that's a great way of doing it. Yeah, even if it's just like building anticipation for something you're not doing right now, that sounds very cute. We moved into the BDSM scene together, and it's given us some of the best times of our lives, both actual and even just the thought of what we would want. It's more than I ever thought life could offer. Oh, Egg, that's so sweet. Aw. So happy. I know it's not easy for everyone out there. I know dating is hard and finding people can be really hard, but I do like hearing when people have things that work out, because, oh gosh, especially when you've been really wanting to do kink for a long time, you think, no one's going to understand me. I'm too weird. My kinks are too odd. How could I possibly expect anyone to love someone like me? And then you find someone who's like, I'm also very weird, and I also got bullied in school, and I also have the same kinks, and you're like, what do you mean? This what? And then suddenly, it's a match made, probably not in heaven, but made somewhere, made by your own effort and your own vulnerability, really. It's not some form of divine intervention necessarily, but it's you putting in the work to be vulnerable and get out there and meet people. I feel like I'm not even a dog. I'm like a cat dog thing, like a hyena, because I'm also very spicy. Listen, hyena, have I not said on this live stream before that like I want there to be more hyenas? Have I manifested this? Have I made this happen? I think hyena girl summer is coming like 2027. I think hyenas are great. I love hyenas. As just animals in general, they're fascinating to me, and I think that's a great option for pet play and for like primal play stuff. Love it, 10 out of 10. Fucking go for it if that feels like your deal. I don't know anything. Maybe watch some videos on hyenas, like from nature preserves or things like that. Maybe learn a little bit more about hyenas, because I've done that with like so when I'm doing like primal play and stuff, the animal that I most identify with is a maned wolf, because I'm freaky and disproportionate, and I have really tall legs and no torso. So I relate to that spiritually on a deep level. And so I identify with a maned wolf. And so part of something that I've done over the years is I've watched, there's not a lot because maned wolves are like relatively rare, and really they're in South America. So you don't have a lot of like English language videos for this stuff. But I looked for like Portuguese stuff and Brazilian stuff on this too. So I've watched a lot of videos of people like recording maned wolves doing things, and maned wolves being in captivity, and people talking about the program they have for them.
Happy
and
adoption anniversary,
really nice.
Bandida.
Oh, thank you, Sean. Happy adoption anniversary to Bandida. Thank you. You're very welcome. Thank you so much. Oh my goodness, Bandida, you don't even know. You don't even know it's your anniversary. You're just licking your little pauses over there. Oh my God, more hyenas in the chat. Hyenas in the chat. Hyena gang, rise up. Oh, that's brilliant. Yeah, maned wolves are awesome. Yeah, I have a maned, you guys probably can't see it because I'm sitting down and I have my butt covered, but I do have, part of my back tattoo is a pair of maned wolves, which threw my tattoo artist for a loop. She was like, I've never seen this animal before in my life, but I'll try. She pulled it off pretty good. Oh, thank you, Rory. Hey, everyone. I do support you all in your community, older generation queer people. Love from a Gen Z. Watching Evie's content has really helped me stay critical and compassionate. Oh, thank you, Rory. We love to see it. That's so great. I'm very familiar with hyenas, as often joke about, because I'm chaotic, collect dead things, taxidermy, and a little silly. My persona is a striped hyena. Well, perfect. I mean, the hyena persona to pet play crossover. I definitely know people who have different pet play identities and like BDSM roleplay identities than their personas, but most people there's overlap, right? Like I have a friend who's like a koi fox is their persona, and so they're also a fox when they do like BDSM stuff, and a lot of foxes actually. Like most people I know with personas are foxes. Are foxes a popular type of persona? I would assume so. Yeah. All right. More questions. Thank you so much. That was a good question. Linksy. Thank you. Happy to talk about it. All righty. I'm scrolling. Looking for another question. Yeah, I must be ancient. Gen X. Oof, you're not ancient. Don't worry about it. I do joke with people I know about them being old when they're like in their mid to late 30s. But I don't actually think that's old. I can't promise Gen Z has the same perspective, though. Being a little loving hyenas is so fun because baby hyenas are so cute. Oh, and aardwolves. I love aardwolves. Those are my little babies. I love them. I would like to have them. I would like to have a group of them. Isn't there some villain that has hyenas? Is that, has like pet hyenas? That's not Poison Ivy. Is that Harley Quinn? Does Harley Quinn have pet hyenas? Imagine that dynamic. Oh my God. That would be so fun. Harley Quinn, hyena pet play, role play scene. That would be great. That would be so fun. Wolves and foxes, for sure. Sonas, yeah. My daddy says I'm a fox because of the sounds I make, so I don't know how many foxes there are. Foxes make great noises, and they whine a lot. They're very needy little babies, and I kind of love that about them. Aardwolves are like tiny striped hyenas. Exactly! That's why they're so precious. They're so precious. Or Scar from the Lion King. Yeah, like having the hyenas be your, like, stooge. That would be very funny. Foxes are very popular for sonas and known for being slutty. Well, I mean, I can't say the people I know who are foxes aren't slutty, so... I think that stereotype persists. I think that that's a trend that's something I've also observed. Yeah, she does it as Harley Quinn. Okay. I don't know why I have that information in the back of my head. Fox is like the stereotypical horny persona historically within the community. That's so funny. Okay, follow-up question then for people who know about personas. What is the stereotypical asexual persona? Like if you see somebody with this persona, you're like, oh, they're ace. Because obviously it's not going to be a fox, right? Is it strange I don't identify with animals, really? I asked, my answer is bunny or lamb, but a plush toy really resonates with me. It's the point I changed my wardrobe up to wear softer clothes. Oh, no, not at all. Mickey, I think that's totally valid, totally a thing. Pet play is one way of manifesting it, but I mean, like, people also, like, being a plushie or, like, a plush doll, that's super cute. Like, I definitely, like, I haven't been in that headspace a lot, but I have, like... There's like a small portion of my brain that's like into dollification, like because I just follow orders, and so I always feel a little bit like I'm a programmed robot, like in kind of a Chobits sort of a fashion. And so when I get kind of the dollification meets pet play headspace overlap, there's definitely a little bit of like, I'm like a little plush doll that's being tossed around. That's definitely a headspace that exists a non-zero amount of the time. Maned wolves, not Maine. Are there? I don't think there are wolves in Maine. Maybe at one point. Not currently, I would imagine. She had hyenas for a while, yeah. That would be a cute plushie, yeah. But mouse? Oh, maybe. Yeah, mice. That makes sense. I could see it. I make plush fursuits. It's so gender affirming to be a plush toy. Oh, that's cute. I love that. Ace persona, not a furry, but am ace. I'd be an armadillo. That's great. An armadillo. Armadillo does definitely have a don't touch me energy to it, but also being cute and like friendly at the same time. There's like a YouTube short that I really like of somebody like rescuing an armadillo and like helping them cross the road that like randomly pops into my brain a non-zero amount of the time. Oh, no. I totally get what you're saying. I know it's slutty, but asexual fox, and I know that sounds weird. No, it's a thing. It happens. However, most aces I know are ... cats. Oh no. The lone ace spec puppy. Yeah. Frey has a chariot pulled by cats. That would be a fun scene too. Oh my god, somebody needs to make that happen. Listen, imagine the pony players. Imagine, because like Folsom, for example, they've got like a pony play, like cart pull thing that happens. Imagine getting a bunch of kitten players to do a cart pulling thing with like somebody dressed up as Freya. That would be fun. I just love scene ideas. I just love scenes. I love people doing fun, interesting stuff. I love cool ideas. And what am I if not somebody to inspire that to happen in the universe? Arrow Ace here, my son is a dragon. Oh my gosh, dragons, that's right. Yes, we've talked about this before in videos. Dragons and asexuality, they go together like peanut butter and jelly. I don't know why, but they do. Dragons, it's all making sense. Dragons and cats. A friend introduced me to transformation kink, and it hits honestly. Yeah. Anyhow, okay. Great stuff. Love talking about personas. Thank you all so much for the persona education. Oh my goodness. Oh, my little Bandida is looking right at me. I'm Demi and a hedgehog. I love hedgehogs. I was obsessed with hedgehogs as a child. And I didn't even like play Sonic. It wasn't even because of Sonic. I just like got a book. I loved all animals, and I got a book from the library that was all about taking care of hedgehogs. And I loved them. I begged my parents for a hedgehog for like 2 years. I wanted a hedgehog so bad. And I had like a whole thing. I was like, Mom, look, they're so cute and they're not that big and like they don't take that much work. And like they were like, no, honey, they're nocturnal. And they gave me a bunch of reasons we couldn't have a hedgehog. And I was really sad about it. But I still love hedgehogs. I love a good little hedgie. Love a good little hedgie. I love watching people's like videos of like their gardens in the UK when they have a little hedgie that pops around. That like breaks my heart. It's so cute. Evie manifested the pineapple beating thing, so I assume either the hyena or Freya thing will manifest as well. Yes. I have an uncanny ability to speak what I want to see into existence in that way. It was just peanut butter. Oh no. Well, you could do sun butter. You could do sun butter with sunflower seeds, cashew butter. There's all different options. It doesn't have to just be peanuts. You make your own history. You make your own way of being in the world. Be peanut free if that's what you need to do. Maned wolves are lanky omnivores that look like super tall foxes. Exactly. Which is why it's really funny that one of my partners is a fox, because then it can be like a like it's like a, do you know how like it's like a Pepe Le Pew situation. You know, like Pepe Le Pew is like really into like the black and white cat and just like is super horned up for like this black and white cat. Like it's kind of that situation of like, I understand that there's similarities, but we're not actually the same species at all. And that's kind of the vibe, and I love it. It's very, yeah, they're very lanky. And also part of my reason for picking them is because they're omnivores and because most of their diet is like a wolf apple. And like fruit and vegetation. And as a vegan, I wanted an animal that was like, because I identify, like I don't really identify with prey animals. I identify as like a predator animal. So I wanted something that was like a predator animal, but like not exclusively a carnivore, that like wasn't a cat. And then I saw maned wolves and I was like, fucking that's it, sold, got it. Meets all the marks. It's fantastic. I think I might be gray. Oh, like gray ace, gray arrow. And I've always connected to tigers, so maybe it's a thing. Could be. That's so cute that a book got you obsessed with hedgehogs. Lots of kids here get obsessed with them, but that's by seeing them in the garden. Getting that obsession through a book is wonderful. They're so perfectly round. They're so perfectly round, and they're very small. And like, I also just loved every animal, so... You know, I wrote every science fair project I ever did was basically about a different animal. Like, 1 year it was sharks, and 1 year it was manatees, and 1 year... Just on down the list. Oh, my poor parents. They always had to hear about all of the animals I wanted. It's probably good. My heart got broke when I was 8, and I didn't get a hamster. I actually never got to take home the hamster. I didn't ever get to take home the classroom hamster for a weekend when I was in school, because there were like 32 kids in my class, and then between the school breaks and stuff, there weren't enough weeks in the year, and I missed out. Didn't get to take the hamster home when I was in like 2nd grade. It was heartbreaking. I never got over it. Just kidding. I did get over it. It was fine. But I had so many plans. I wanted to take this hamster on adventures. I loved Ralph S. Mouse. That was like my favorite book. I had all these ideas. I'm like, I'm going to get the hamster and I'm going to hang out with him. And I wanted to get him a little ball and like have him follow me around the house. I had no realistic expectations of the hamster whatsoever. Cream cheese and jelly is the motherfucking bomb. So good. Oh, I haven't even thought about that in a long time. Yeah, that is a combo people do. My persona would be a skunk. Why? You know that about yourself. That's good. Then in my fantasy world I'm running, dragons are super horny. Dragons could be whatever you want them to be, because they're made up. They can be horny or not horny. It went amazingly well, and I met a cute puppy girl wearing a muzzle and got other selfies too. Oh, that's great, Kaylin. Congratulations. That's so fun. Hedgehog orb. Hedgehorb, yeah. I wish hedgehogs were native to here. I would love that. I mean, we have possums, I guess, which, like, I don't know if that's an equivalent exchange. I feel like there's a lot of people who love possums, though, so maybe it is. Maybe I would like possums more if they weren't native to where I live and I didn't, like, see them all the time as a child. But possums are less spherical, so possums have more of a chaos energy. Like, possums are kind of in the same group as hyenas. Like, it's kind of like rats, possums, and hyenas are kind of like mentally grouped for me. And then hedgehogs are kind of like they're with bunnies. Like, it's kind of like hedgehogs and bunnies and like fairy wrens. Like, just like perfectly round creatures. Like, just the most round little bloobs you've ever seen in your entire life. like, I don't know, like a baby seal. I don't know if they still have classroom hamsters. We hatched butterflies. We had something else too. I think, do we have a mouse or something? I went to a bunch of different schools. I had a lot of different like classroom animals at different points in my life. I don't know. I haven't heard it happening, but I also don't really know anyone who goes to like a regular elementary school. So I haven't heard if so. Please put a cowboy hat on that coyote skull. That sounds great. I love it. Can confirm and friends with the possum. Exactly. Yeah, see. Imagine all the mischief that duo would get up to. The hyena possum duo. Unstoppable, really. They got the high ground and the low ground. No stopping them. Maybe they needed a bird in there. Maybe you need a bird. What kind of bird would go with a hyena and like a possum? What kind of bird has a similar energy? I feel like a crow, probably. I feel like crows are more like plotting. Maybe they're the brains of the operation. Maybe the crow is the brain of the operation. It's all coming together. It's all coming together. Ferrets! Oh my god, that's ridiculous. Ferrets are too funny. My swallowtail caterpillars are now in cocoons. I'm so excited for butterflies. Hell yeah, that sounds super cute. Possum furries. I've seen a couple of them. They're getting more popular. I think the possums are rising up. They are happening. In 7th grade, we had a classroom with a chinchilla. I think that wins. Chinchillas also go in the same category as hedgehogs. Also very round. Also very precious. A toucan. I love toucans. Toucans are my favorite bird. I love toucans. They are just... I like how they click and they clack. And they make funny noises. And they're kind of like me because they wear all black, but then they have really bright colors on their face. And I feel like that's basically me. Oh, magpies. Yes, I forget. We don't really have magpies around here. Magpie, good choice. Good choice. A shoebill stork. I think the shoebill might just try to eat the possum. I think that might backfire. You have the whole gang. Oh, you got the whole set. No one can stop you. Okay, all right. I am scrolling back. I'm looking for some questions. We got talking about pets and animals, and you know, it's one of my favorite topics. I can't not talk about animals. It's just gonna happen. If you get me on that topic, it's gonna be a thing that I talk about and rant about for a while. So there you go. I do find possums interesting because I never see them over here. Guess I can understand your hedgehog reaction, lol. But hedgehogs are definitely cuter and quieter. Possums have rodent hands, so chaos, yes. They can get up to a lot more mischief than a little hedgie. Although, I did see a very cute video of a hedgehog that had, like, destroyed a patch of watermelon. Like, just hollowed out the watermelon situation entirely. I thought that was very funny, and I'm like, he earned that watermelon, okay? It's hot outside. He's a little guy. Let him eat the watermelon. He's a little guy. That's what I think. Let the little man eat the watermelon. That's my opinion. I know a lot of people don't like hedgies because they eat gardens, but it's like, but they're so cute. Oh, also, are there hedgehogs in Peter Rabbit? Because I watched a lot of Peter Rabbit growing up. And so if there was a hedgehog in there, I might have seen a hedgehog in Peter Rabbit. And that might have been where it came from. Red-winged blackbird. Oh, yeah. Oh, they're migratory, though. They're not as permanent. That's also a good one, too. Sugar gliders? Where do you people... Sugar gliders? Chinchillas? I'm jealous. Shit, I thought I was lucky having a hamster. I have a weird set of autisms. I like to call them sex/kinktism and dino animal autism. Well... from what I've heard, animal autism is very common, especially for AFAB people. Like, that's one of the things. And I'm like, that's like... I don't think I have autism, but if I was going to put something in like a point system to figure out if I had autism or not, the animal thing would be a contributing factor to that assessment. Bears are getting into your dad's garden. Oh, well, they're a much bigger problem than little hedgehogs. So if hedgehogs are getting in there, it's probably causing more destruction. Oh, sweet little baby Bandita sleeping. Okay. All right. Love hearing about all the personas and all of that. Fantastic. Keep the conversation going. Literally the whole chat, part of the chat I'm currently in, as far back as I can scroll, is still talking about personas and plush fursuits and slutty asexual foxes. Oh my goodness. What a time. What a time. All right. My partner is genuinely the best person I've ever met. I'm so unbelievably excited to live out all of the things once you move out soon. I'm excited for you. That sounds like a very fun time. Moving in together should be an exciting time. And I'm so happy when it is, because I've been in a lot of situations where it's not a happy, exciting time. And it's like stressful. And it's like, I know in my gut it's not the right thing to do, but I'm doing it anyways. And that's not the position you want to be in when you're deciding to live with somebody. Okay. How are you able to make this content? I saw the title on internet censorship. How many of your videos get age restricted or taken down? And how do you navigate that as a creator? Okay, so things have always changed over the whole course of time that I have been on the internet. For the first, I don't know, like 6 years probably that I made content, nothing I made was monetized. I didn't monetize it. I enabled monetization eventually because YouTube started to force ads onto my content. And so the only way to be able to moderate how many ads showed and where on my videos was by enabling monetization. So then I could actually have like some degree of a manual override over certain ads that play. Like I have control over mid-roll ads that play for the most part. But the pre-roll and post-roll ads, I don't have any control over. That just is whatever YouTube decides. And so I got it from that. So before that, for the first several years I made content, it was like not even a factor on my radar. The only time, knock on wood, that I've ever had content consistently removed was a couple of years ago. YouTube updated its community guidelines to give you channel strikes for links to adult content. That ended up including like magazine articles about sex and adult relationships and kink. So if I link to, let's say, a Vice article about the 10 fetishes you never heard of before, that's not a real article, but as an example, like that would get me a channel strike. And you can get 3 of those before they suspend your account. And so one day, just fucking out of nowhere, mid-morning, I get this email, just like back to back to back, just like flood of emails in my inbox of like your content, you know, you've received a warning for this, I don't remember what the actual email said, but it was something to the effect of like, you know, your content from this video has been removed. And then I got notifications of channel strikes. And I got 2 channel strikes from these links. And some of the content had been removed from, they removed, because it was links, they didn't actually take the videos down, but they removed all of the links in my description boxes. So I was realizing that this was going through in kind of order of publication. And I spent the next almost 24 hours removing manually every single link from every single description box that I had. It probably would have been easier for me to just delete every single description box that I had and then like maybe copy and paste over a like new thing. But I didn't want to like, you know, there's a lot of history in there. I had things, you know, that linked to like my Patreon and my Instagram and my other social media I didn't want to get rid of. So that was very stressful. And then now I am still very reluctant to post links to things even as a reference, so I typically won't put a direct link in a channel description box, but I might like pin links at a pinned comment, or I might like paste them out but then kind of space them out so they're not really recognizable as links, and that's worked pretty well. But that was like really scary, because that was just, from my understanding when I talked to YouTube about it, they were like, oh yeah, those channel strikes, like eventually I ended up appealing them and they got reversed. But that took a very long time to happen. Like my channel would have been suspended before anything got reviewed. So eventually I got things reversed and ended up being okay. But because they were using AI to automate all of this stuff, they just went through like all of my content very quickly, and they couldn't really tell the difference between an educational article about like a sexologist giving advice on how to tell your partner about like your water sports kink and like a fetish website that's like fetishistically in a sexual way for titillation talking about water sports as like a hot fetish topic. And because they couldn't do that, they just like marked any link that had anything to do with kink as a violation, which is really scary. Currently, I honestly could not tell you directly what YouTube's perspective is on a lot of my content. Like the more recent videos that I've published have been more consistently demonetized. So the last, like, I think 4 videos I've made have all been demonetized. But then before that, the last, like, 10 videos I made before that all got monetized. And so, like, I don't know what the difference is between me talking about, like, a trad wife wearing a BDSM collar and me talking about, like, exhibitionism and voyeurism. Like, how does, like, one of those get monetized and not the other? Because I'm not being explicit in them. I'm not giving, you know, salacious examples. I'm not talking about sex in them really in any kind of overt detail. But I'm, for the most part, expecting my content's not going to be monetized, and it's kind of a surprise when it is. So yeah, it's definitely a crapshoot, but YouTube does make, at least currently, an exception for educational content, and they have for a very long time. I've been doing this for 10 years. You know, things have changed a little bit here and there. If anything, they've actually gotten like less restrictive in certain ways, like with like swearing and things like that. But yeah, it's, you know, you never know what the future's going to bring. The minimal control over your ads you have, is that why I've never seen a PragerU ad on your channel? Because I once saw a 40-minute Dennis Prager ad run on a video that was about debunking a PragerU video. I'm not sure. I don't really know a lot about how like the advertiser end of that works. I would imagine PragerU spends a lot of money advertising on content that talks about them. So they probably actively select for videos that are about politics, that revolve around topics, or talk about PragerU specifically. I don't know what kind of ads people get on my videos. Hopefully it's nothing too terrible and too crazy. But you can put in some exceptions for things you don't want to have advertised on your content, but it doesn't work particularly well or very consistently, at least not from the creator end. So, yeah. With spanking, I found that if you have it as discipline, they don't demonetize it, but if you mention any inclination that someone enjoys it, demonetized instantly. That is very odd, but not surprising. Yeah, if you talk about it as like a punishment, like teaching tool, it's fine, but then suddenly you talk about somebody enjoying it, and it's like, what the heck? That's not allowed. And I'm like, is that a good message? If YouTube gets incredibly overrun with censorship, will you move to a different platform? If so, what platform? If YouTube somehow gets very restricted, I don't think that there will be another social media platform that is better. So I probably wouldn't move to another public platform. I would just keep doing what I'm doing on Patreon, and then just like, because Patreon's entire business model relies on adult adjacent content creators, like people who are making like sexy boyfriend ASMR and softcore furry porn, and there are people who make porn on it. There's lots of porn creators who just make like straight up adult content through Patreon, you know, that do like animations and things like that. Because Patreon like relies so much on adult content creation, I think that Patreon's probably going to be the surest bet for things for the most part going forward, at least from a credit card processor side of things. ISPs, a little bit of a different story there, being able to access Patreon. But yeah, I think Patreon also already, for the kind of content I make, they already use a non-mainstream payment processor. So they already don't work with Visa and MasterCard for content creators like me. So I'm already a little bit insulated, at least on Patreon, from that. Whereas YouTube obviously is working with Stripe, PayPal, MasterCard, Visa, all the big people. So yeah. Yeah, there's just not something else that would be like TikTok, way more censorship, Instagram, way more censorship. Like that's part of the reason I don't make content, a big part of the reason I don't make content on Instagram and TikTok, even though it would be really easy to turn my video topics into short little clips for like, 2 minutes at a time. The reason I don't do that is because everything is so heavily censored over there that like I'd probably be banned from TikTok real quickly. I don't know if I would still have an Instagram account. That probably also would get suspended. So it hasn't really been worth it. I've been toying around with the idea of doing like text things on Instagram more often and giving that a whirl and just seeing how that goes. But I just hate having to like censor words, and I having to like use code phrases and like emojis and shit. Like it just riles me up and I hate it. So I don't just not do it at all and just focus on the platforms that make it so I don't have to censor myself as much, versus trying to work within the increasingly strict guidelines of Meta and TikTok. A lot of my true crime YouTube channels I watch have more explicit topics on their Patreon accounts. Yeah. I mean, which is more or less what I already do, right? Like I have videos on Patreon where I talk about like blackmail, kink, and like CNC, and like Primal play in more detail. So if you're ever wondering like why doesn't Evie, I know people kind of get like mad at me because they're like, oh, you do like baby kink stuff, you do like baby like BDSM 101 content, and I'm like, yes, because people need that information, so shut the fuck up. But also like I can't talk about hardcore edge play CNC 24/7 MS relationships on here where somebody gets like non-consensually branded on the ass with like a cold brand. Like that's not something I can talk about in detail on YouTube. So thus Patreon, where I could talk about I can use more explicit language around things like fetishes, and I can talk about blackmail and findom and things that people generally are not okay with on YouTube, and that would be a gray area for my channel, if not in this moment, in the future at some point. All right. I am now setting a boundary because I appreciate everyone who's going to try to give me advice on go to this platform, do this, do that. Content creators talk to each other. We work with each other. Trust me, unless this is also your job, I can promise you that you have not thought about this nearly as much as I and the other content creators that I've discussed this stuff with. So I really appreciate that you want to help and give advice. I can pretty much guarantee that we've thought about it and made decisions particular ways for informed reasons because of what we know about the nature of our job from, playing the inside baseball of it. If you would like to support and be helpful, you can use a super chat. You can go to my Patreon. You can sign up for my email list. You can do all of those wonderful things. And then that would actually be more helpful if you just want to know what to do. Yeah. But Nebula is an online-only platform. I've submitted stuff for them. They've never gone back to me. I don't even really know if they're taking on new creators at this point. I've also heard some things about working with Nebula that maybe aren't so great, maybe a little concerning. But yeah. Oh, fuck. How is my camera overheating with the fan on? Oh no. Okay. God damn it. It is hot outside today. I should have expected it. All right. Camera. Oh my goodness, but look how cute Bandida is. You're so fluffy. My little fluffy little baby. People do specially designed things. I'm not going to give any advice on branding on a YouTube live stream, but just to quickly answer the question, there are many different ways to do brands, and there are ways to adapt them for human skin. But it is still a high-risk activity. Alright, I am waiting for my camera to come back online. While I'm doing that, I'm going to scroll and look for a question. I've seen a lot of ace people have bird sonas, but not enough to say for sure. Do 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 do. You guys like my waiting music? Is it fun? The brilliant artist, as you can see. Okay, all right. Da, 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 da. I think we're all agreed on the spherical animal situation. Oh, here we go. Okay. Some questions. All right, I'm going to try to turn my camera back on. I've got some questions lined up here. That was weird. Okay. I turned my fan up, so I'm sorry if you guys can hear that if it's annoying. Hopefully it won't be too distracting in the background, but just an FYI, that's what that noise is, if you end up hearing something. What are your thoughts on swingers versus polygamous persons? So I'm assuming you mean like polygamy, like religious polygamy, not like polyamory. What are my thoughts? What are my thoughts? So I'm going to assume by polygamy, you mean like a religiously informed belief that for some reason, usually men, are allowed to, and in fact, ordered by God to have multiple wives. I don't really like that because anything that involves gender essentialism or a prescribed way of doing things, like it is this one way, it is one man and multiple women, and that's how the universe is supposed to work, and that's it. That just kind of gives me the ick. I'm not really into it. Don't like it. Anything that involves gender essentialism of like, this gender is this way, and this gender is that way, and only this person is allowed to do this, just gives me a bad taste in my mouth. Are there people out there who do religious polygamy that are good people? Sure. But I think the underlying reasons behind it are something that I don't support. And then, let me see, with swingers, I think I've talked quite a bit on these live streams before about my opinions on swingers. So swinging in its essence, I don't have any problem with, like, the idea of swinging. So you don't know what swinging is. Swinging is like partner swapping. So you're usually a married couple that there's different ways of doing it. You maybe swap with a couple. So the husband goes with the other wife and the wife goes with the other husband. You can be in the same room at the same time. You can go off separately. You can each like mix and match with various other people at events, like swingers events, like sex positive spaces. But the focus is on the dyad. And there's not, outside of like friendship and maybe sort of having a long-term swinging relationship with a couple, there's not necessarily a lot of emotional depth and like romance behind swinging. And swinging in of itself can be fine and totally negotiated, consensual, all that good stuff. But there's aspects of swinging culture that make me not have very positive feelings about it as a general rule. One, historically speaking, swinger culture tends to be homophobic, particularly towards homophobic men, and it tends to be very essentializing and patronizing towards bisexual women. So homosexual men, bisexual men are treated as like a fearful, scary thing that's not a positive. And bisexual women are sort of expected and held on a pedestal, but in kind of a gilded cage way that I think is not actually a positive. It also tends to attract more upper class conservative married people, typically very white people. And so they, as a result of that, because they're older, wealthier, more conservative, are not taking in the kinds of modern consent practices that make doing things like polyamory and BDSM like safe and sane, or like make them truly consensual, right? Like drinking, like heavy drinking is quite normalized in swingers circles. Consent can be really wibby wobbly to like totally non-existent. And so that just makes me uncomfortable and like not feel very safe in swinger spaces. I think, again, because of the combination of age, income level, generally more conservative, you get people that do not have very nice views of LGBT plus people, especially trans people. And it's just not my favorite. I think that, again, there are swingers that are good. There are swinging couples that I'm sure that are fine or that do it consensually. The younger people I know that are into swinging, that are changing things, are making things better. Like, there is more of an acceptance of bisexuality. There is more acceptance of the broader LGBT plus spectrum. There's less transphobia. There's more inclusion. But the backbone of swinger culture is still based on some things that I don't find particularly savory, and I still think that they're not where I would want to be at to feel comfortable with their consent practices, and so I just am not a fan generally, because they have more of that mindset of like talking about it ruins the mood, and like it's okay to use like alcohol as like lubrication to like make things happen. So it's just not a shared value for me. I just don't have shared values with them for the most part, and so I prefer other things. But if I had to choose between like swinging and polygamy, I'm choosing the swinging. Definitely choosing the swinging on that one. Yeah, the bi-erasure is uncomfortable. Oh, I meant poly people. Oh, polyamorous people. Not like religious. It was spell check messed up. Oh, okay. Yeah. So on that front, I will say, kind of talking about polyamorous people as opposed to polygamous people. Polyamory involves more emotional connections and all different constellations of how intertwined people are. Something that could be very, very close to swinging. So like a closed like polyfidelis arrangement where it's two couples, they're together, they only sleep with each other, and they're just a closed system, and they swap with each other in various arrangements. That's very, very, very close to swinging. And you can have all the way over to basically relationship anarchy, where all different people exist in all different combinations. There's maybe no relationship overlap between any various metamors. There's nothing, it's not closed off. And I think polyamory, though you do see people all across the age spectrum doing polyamory tends to go a little bit younger, be more consent-minded, be more sex-positive, be more inclusive of trans people and LGBT plus people. Though there's sort of different segments of the polyamorous community, right? So there's polyamorous circles that are like all trans women. There are polyamorous circles that are all queer folk or gay men, or all like polyamorous circles that are like way more heterosexual. So it's really hard to draw any one conclusion about polyamory on the whole, because there's so many different styles of polyamory, and there's so many different groups of people who do polyamory a little bit different from each other, that it's hard to compare it one-to-one to swinging, which tends to be more cohesive. And there are different ways of doing swinging, but they tend to be less segmented compared to, at least from my observation, with polyamory. So I like polyamory a little bit better, though at the same time, I don't hang out in vanilla polyamorous circles. That's just not my thing. I just don't get anything out of it. I don't get anything out of going to like a polyamorous meetup or a discussion group. Like, kink is so fundamental to me that if you're not doing that, I don't care if you're monogamous or polyamorous or whatever. So I'm not sure what the poly folk are totally up to entirely, to be honest with you, but that's just my observation. All right, see ya, Linksy. See you later. Leave your loop on swingers, and some, I assume, are good people. Yeah, they're not sending their best. We're invading the country. Oh, God. I just feel like everything you need to know about swingers is the fact that, like, a lot of them are dentists. Like, a lot of dentists. A lot of dentists are swingers. A lot. So, make that what you will. Yep. A YouTuber was describing a key party and called it a polyamorous thing. I almost screamed swinger thing at the screen. I mean, I would do the same thing, right? Like a key party. I've never heard that happening in a polyamorous space. Like, that's like old school swinging. That's like 70s Air Force Base swinging right there. That is something that you don't hear too many times these days. Thoughts or tips on participating in and finding more types of non-alcohol based kink events, like not at bars, partner and I don't drink. Oh, most of them. I mean, it depends on where you live, but at least where I am at on the West Coast, I've lived in different cities that operate differently. Here, almost all the spaces have some kind of drinking at them for like kind of the regular weekday parties and the weekly parties. But different parts of the country, like a lot of parts of California, LA, the Bay Area, a lot of them have no drinking at all. Seattle, no drinking at all. So it depends on what your local community is like based on what's allowed legally and how the spaces operate. Like, are they a nonprofit? Are they ran by a business owner that's trying to make a profit off of them? And that'll affect things. But generally speaking, like most dungeons in at least America are not going to also be bars or openly serve alcohol, because that's more likely to be against the rules than not. So I would look for a private play space and a dungeon focused play space. And in order to suss out whether or not there's alcohol there, you're probably going to have to either message people or read through the FAQ or look at photos on Google Maps, and then that should be able to tell you whether or not there's alcohol at them or if people are going to be drinking. But that's going to more depend on just sort of what's available where you live. Because for a long time, even in Portland, there's been kind of on and off dungeons that don't have alcohol at them. Like someone's always trying to start like an alcohol-free, dry, kink-focused dungeon, but then various things end up happening, and not everyone who tries to do that is a particularly good person. And so things keep popping up and changing and being different, but it is still a thing. Yeah. If you have a dentist fetish, then maybe that's not a deterrent. You know, maybe that's a good place to find a dentist if you want to have somebody engage in that kink. Did you ever see that guy on TikTok that went viral for asking why do all poly people look like that? I didn't have to see them because that's a joke that I've seen like on every social media platform, and I can't imagine they're saying anything particularly different. But it's something I will talk about in a future video about why everyone hates polyamory at some point. Debug asks, what creature / character would you want to top or bottom for? I went out to an amazing creature munch and someone added horror Bambi to my hear me out list. Oh, that's interesting. Is it weird if I just say something with an animal skull? I don't know how to describe that exactly, but like, what the heck is that called? There's like a word. There's like, there's like a movie that's like a strawberry mansion. Like there's like a skull creature in like Strawberry Mansion that would be my hear me out. Like if I ever have to do a slideshow that's like my hear me out presentation, it's gonna be the deer head skull monster in Strawberry Mansion. Although there's a whole group of creatures that are like that. There's one in an anime as well. I think it's like the Ancient Magus Bride, which I've been meaning to watch more of. I want to get back to watching the Ancient Magus Bride, but also that guy too. That's also my hear me out. Just skull creatures. Just skull creatures, as you know, as one does. Anything in a big black robe, honestly. That makes it sound like a judge, I guess, would technically qualify. Sounds like a druid or a shaman even. I mean, you know, something in there. But like it's not just like a human wearing a skull mask. Like it's a primordial entity that's like a shadow encased in a black suit that wears a skull. Like, not a human creature, probably doesn't even have genitals. Like, that's the wavelength we're on. Yeah, I know people started like 3D printing like skull masks for personas, and they got popular for a little bit. They're definitely still around though. I don't know if I want if my partner like wore a persona outfit like that, if that would do anything for me, but it's good to know. It's a very cozy cottagecore anime, which is like my favorite kind. Have you checked out Fruits Basket yet, Evie? Oh gosh, I read like 3 of the mangas when I was like 11, probably. I've never read all of it, but I am familiar with it in general. I mean, who doesn't want to get topped by death? So mythological death. Exactly. Don't judge me. Are you shocked by this answer? I am, hear me out, an overly empathetic tentacle monster. I'm on the tentacles, I'm on to see creatures, nothing slimy. It has to be monstrous and primordial in some way. It has somewhere in there, but also kind of nice. All right. Can't be, I don't want to, not trying to get thrown around through a plate glass window at a Ramada Inn, trying to keep all my limbs together. I was really disappointed that XO Kitty ran away from polyamory. Who is that? That name is familiar. Who and what do I know that from? XO Kitty. I'm looking on YouTube because I'm just assuming that they're on YouTube. That's not how you spell that at all. XO. Why is that name so familiar? Oh. There's it's like a K-drama? It's a K-drama. Oh, and they went away from polyamory. That's disappointing. All right. My partner wants to Grubhub me something. What should they Grubhub me? What should for aftercare food for approximately 4 hours from now? What food should my partner Grubhub for me? It has to be vegan, obviously, but honestly, if you say just about anything, it is Portland, and we can probably Grubhub it, so don't worry about it too much. I am now allowing the chat to select my dinner because I don't want to have to make a decision in the next 20 minutes while also answering questions, so instead, you all can answer for me. Not judging, I've had many partners who identify as primordial shadow creatures, to be honest. Void punk? Hell yeah. That's what I gotta find. I gotta find those people. I gotta, it's hard. I find people that, like, joke with me about it, but they don't identify that way. And I'm like, thanks for humoring me, but you'll never understand. You'll never understand what it's like. Something you can't have. Thai, the good stuff. True, there is a really good vegan Thai place. Xenomorph. Anything, I'm not into reptiles. No reptiles, nothing reptilian. No, nothing scaly. Dragons, kind of a tentative exception to that, but, like, I prefer dragons that also are, like, a little bit fluffy, that have kind of feathers, If I had to pick, if I could choose. If given the choice. But yeah, it's me. We had pizza last time we hung out, so there's gonna be no on the pizza. Sweet potato tacos. It's very specific. Sweet potato tacos. I should remember the name. The protagonist lady just had a tentacle monster as a roommate. I don't think it was called My Pet Tentacle Monster, but that's all my brain is giving. I mean, I think if you look up a pet tentacle monster anime, you'll probably find something. I'm totally confused by YouTube's policies. We have so many that I think will get flagged and they pass without a problem. Then some clean ones just get flagged 5 months later after I upload them. Yep. Same situation here. Same thing that happens. Don't know why, but it does. Like all the things, proper curry, a proper noodle dish, a veggie street dish. Learning some options there. In the comics, Thanos' reason for wanting to kill half of all living things in the universe all at once was because he was in love with Death and wanted to get her attention. Fuck me! Doesn't that always happen? Doesn't Deathpool, also do weird things to get Death's attention? Like, men just be killing half of the universe to get a woman's attention. Men would literally kill half the universe rather than go to therapy. Men would literally rather than be supervillains than go to therapy. Slime girls, okay, yeah. I feel like a slime girl, I understand. A slime girl, I get the vibe, I understand. Being ensconced by, a loving slime girl and just getting to, slowly get pressed inside of her slime. I get that. That's a vibe I understand. My problem is it'd be cold. Too cold. Need warmth. Need some kind of warmth in there. Which shadow creatures I decide to headcanon can also still be warm. If it was just cold and slimy, I would not be into it. Oh, they should get all the dishes. Oh, I see. Not really a K-drama. It is by the women who wrote To All the Men I Love Before books. Indian food or Chipotle. No Chipotle, not a fan of Chipotle. Indian food, it depends. There's some good Indian food here, but it's a little hit or miss. Alright. No worries. I'm glad your sister was congratulating you. Glad you could come back. We're currently deciding what food I should have later. Because because I've decided to outsource my brain power while I'm answering questions. I'm using cloud computing to figure out what I should eat for dinner / aftercare food for later. Oh, you're talking about Monster Girl Quest. Played that bit in 2011. I have no idea what that is, but it does sound fun, and I could see the appeal because just the title sells it, honestly. Don't need anything else. Oh, Mirasada. Yeah. Problem with Mirasada for delivery is I've always had Mirasada mess up delivery food. I've had them in person a couple times and loved them, but then, like, delivery, they always are just like, oh, we decided not to make that today. Okay. Then don't have it on your DoorDash. All right. Now is your opportunity to ask questions. I definitely missed a lot of questions in there. So if you have not asked it yet or I haven't answered it, please repeat it again now. You're a content creator who talks about intimate things. What boundaries do you like to maintain between yourself as a creator and the audience? How is it to be a creator that is a queer, sub, and femme? Well, I'll tell you what, it's not always a walk in the park. I get a lot of weird emails and a lot of weird messages and other things to various platforms. So I definitely get people who just, like, look at me and, like, they might just hear me go, they must hear peanut noises when I talk. They might just go, blah, 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 blah. It's like what they hear whenever I say that I'm a submissive or that I'm polyamorous or anything else. Because I get a lot of people who think that I'm just a dom or that I would somehow monogamously decide to, like, move across the country for them. And it's real weird. Not a fun time. In terms of boundaries for, like, content creation, so for example, I've decided I'm not going to be sharing, like, any sort of identifying specific information about particular partnerships or relationships. I generally give pretty vague stuff about, like, you know, I have a partner that does this, or I've done this with a partner before. That's kind of the level I'm comfortable sharing, as opposed to before, where I've had, like, partners be on camera with me and be on screen with me, and I think that that's not something I really want to do going forward. You know, never say never. I could see a situation, or maybe I do, like a Meet My Dom video where you just see, like, their fucking boots or something, and, like, I'm sitting on the ground and you just see, like, their legs and their boots, and it's just, like, me sitting next to them. Like, I thought about doing that for Patreon maybe at some point, like, down the line, if I feel comfortable with that, maybe doing that kind of video, but not having anybody that I'm in a relationship with, like, share my channel or, like, be part of my channel, I think has been a smart decision, just because that means I don't have to explain anything to anyone. No one feels entitled to stuff. I think also not wearing visually identifiable signs of, like, relationship commitment on camera has also been a big thing. I know that's, like, controversial with streamers, because people will be like, oh, well, you know she's married, right? And she has a boyfriend, right? And, you know, people get mad if you decide not to wear a wedding ring or something when you're a streamer, because they think it's because you're trying to, like, deceive men into, like, donating money to you because they think they have a chance with you. And honestly, it's, like, more of a safety thing, like, and just maintaining my privacy. Like, I don't want the whole internet to know exactly what my relationship status is, or assume that they can know what my relationship status is based on what I'm wearing or not wearing, or what it looks like, or what finger it's on, or whatever. And so it's just easier if I, like, just don't go there, and I don't, like, talk about, you know, relationships with a level of depth, or show them on camera in a way where people might think that they get to suss out, like, oh, this is what this means. And also because I've had people, like, say uncomfortable things about, you know, when I have worn visually identifiable signs of, you know, submission or relationship before, people have made very uncomfortable comments about it to this very day on a semi-regular basis, and I just, like, don't want to have a repeat of that. So those are some, like, you know, content creation boundaries would just basically be, like, not oversharing about partners, not having them be present in my, like, public, easily accessible, like, mainstream content, and then not, like, wearing something that can easily be understood as, like, a, you know, a sign of a relationship that people might, like, project some meaning onto. And then, you know, that's more or less it. And then for, like, real life interactions, like, one big thing is I, like, don't date people who are fans of my content. Like, if you match with me on a dating app and I figure it out, which I will figure out if you are a fan of my content, I'm not, that's not a boundary I cross. Pick up play scenes are a little bit more case by case. It really depends on the person approaches me. I've definitely had people that are like, oh my gosh, I love your content. Like I've had people, there's one, like, I remember like meeting this guy in an elevator once, and like, I was like alone with him in the elevator, and I could tell that he was looking at me, and I was wearing a mask, and like wasn't sure if he knew it was me or not. And then, like, later I got a really, really long email where he was like, oh my God, it was like kismet that we met. And like, I love your content. Well, I didn't know you lived here. And, oh my God. It was so scary because I was like, I can never go back to that Target again. I can never go back to that Target ever again. Oops. So that's good. That's a little scary. If people think that because they watch my content, they know my personality and what I'm like to be in a relationship with, and just, there's no way to overcome that in a way that I think is ethical. So I just like don't cross that boundary. But like, you know, pick a play if somebody's like, oh, you know, I was new to BDSM, I watched your content. And if they've been in the scene for like 5 years and like 4 years ago, they were like really into my videos, but they haven't really kept up. Like that's different to me than somebody who's like, oh my gosh, I love your content. And like, oh, like I wish I could date you, and just being really overbearing about it. And like, you know, fetishizing who I am as like a content creator. Yeah. You mean Cubone confirmed? Oh, I hope not. I mean, the amount of I could insert random thing here than they ever would comments would be bananas. Yeah. Oh my God. Which is so funny because it's so wrong. It's just so wrong. Like I'm happy with my partners. I'm happy with my relationships. Y'all need to know the details about them. But like, I'm happy. I'm having a good time. Then like I pick the people, like at this point in my life, I pick people that I'm really highly compatible with, and I don't endure relationships that like are not working for me and that are not giving me what I want. So if you're gonna try to brag to me about how like I could send you into subspace faster, I could hit you better, I could do something, like, no you can't because you don't know me, and that's the big part of it. You don't understand. The magic sauce for BDSM is not I'm better at this thing as a hard skill. It's the soft skill of the relationship that's more important. I don't inherently want to date a content creator based on their videos, but I could absolutely see hanging out with games, food, movies. I mean, if it's a social setting, that's totally fine with me. If it's like a movie night, karaoke, board games, whatever, not that I'm a fan of board games, but, you know, that kind of setting is totally cool with me. I love hanging out with people at Munches and socializing in group settings. Like, that's totally fine. Yeah. All right, I have told. What you doing, puppy? Hey, Bandida, what you doing? You sniffing? You gonna eat crumbs? Come here. Yeah, don't eat crumbs. Don't eat crumbs. Don't eat things on the floor. You've had the I'm sniffing to eat random things I find on the floor look going on, and I would like you to not do that. I would like you to not eat random things from the floor. Ma'am. All right, 10-minute warning. The next 10 minutes will include me with my dog. Did you drool on me, ma'am? I think you got a little drool on me. That's very rude. Okay. I was like Legal Eagle. What other content creators do you enjoy? Who do I watch a lot of right now? Fundy Fridays. Tor's Cabinet of Curiosities. Oh my gosh, you guys like longer form content? I cannot recommend it. I'll put their name in the chat because it's kind of a long one. Tor's Cabinet of Curiosities. Can I spell the word cabinet? Cabinet. Hooked on phonics, working for me. Of curiosities. There we go. I typoed that one. There we go. Tor's Cabinet of Curiosities is great. It's so entertaining. It's so fun. Highly recommend. I'd probably have to go through like and just like see who's like most in like my watch time at the present moment. To be fair, I watch a lot of Hassan Piker streams, which I feel like is controversial, but I watch a lot of Hassan Piker like stream highlights. I've been really getting into a podcast called Stavi's World. I love listening to their call-in part of the show where they answer questions and like voicemails. And oh my God, I'm getting such an insight into like the average vanilla mid-30s man's brain. And I'm so grateful to know what they're thinking and what they're feeling, because you know, I didn't know, and makes me feel good about myself. Didn't he do the video about Corbin Blue Wikipedia articles? Yes, he did. That's his most popular video. It's very good. But he's an Oregonian, or maybe an Alaskan who moved to Oregon. But I think he's from like Eugene or Salem, so it's a local guy. So gotta give him the support. Little Banditi, what are you doing? There you go. Put your little head right there. Oh my gosh, thank you, Sean, for the end of the live stream. Little gifts. Thank you. I have a vague memory of the show Oddities, but I couldn't tell you anything in particular. I feel like I remember seeing it though somewhere. I remember seeing it somewhere. Phonics rather than balanced literacy. Lucky, yeah, I know. I moved enough schools to where I kind of got a mix of like a bunch of different like reading stuff. So I'm a little bit of a curious case on that front. I'm going to ask this before, but I'm curious how common scarification is in your experience, Evie. Like, it kind of came up earlier with the branding kink. Lots of people seem to prefer blade scars over heat. It's, as an edge play, it's fairly common, but I wouldn't say it's something that I see at dungeons routinely. Like, I would say if I'm going to a 1,000-person convention, there's probably going to be about a handful to a dozen people that are doing something that involves using a scalpel. That might be intentional scarification, or it might just be using blades as a sensory tool. And I do kind of make a little bit of a distinction between the two, because like scarification I see more as like intentional creation of a design on the skin that's intended to last, versus using scalpel blades as a sensory tool. You're not really using it for a specific design purpose, but you're just utilizing it as a thing to make brain go burr, you know? But yeah, it's somewhat common. It's definitely a lot more common than like strike branding. Way more common. Like, in the time I've been in the scene, I know 3 people that have done actual strike brands. I know 2 people that have done hypnotic inductions to fake doing a strike brand without really doing a strike brand. So even that's like not as rare as you think it would be, but like it happens. But it turns out that strike branding, even for like a really heavy masochist, is very intense. It's, you know, it's not something you're doing on an average day of the week. I watch a lot of YouTube essay creators. To be honest, anything under 2 hours I get bored. Oh, I do. If there are content creators who, and I could just kind of give a list of people. Like I like Drew Gooden. I like Danny Gonzalez. I watch a little bit of Curtis Connor, but he's not my favorite. Drew Gooden's probably my favorite of the 3, like just because of the kind of stuff that he talks about. And I do watch. I like, you know, any of the. I love Big Joel. I love Jose Nada J. 3 Arrows, anything in that kind of wheelhouse, I'll definitely listen to, but they don't make content very frequently, so they're not like a major part of like my YouTube diet. And most of the time, if I'm working and I'm writing, or if I'm doing laundry or doing dishes or something, I'm probably listening to a YouTube video. I have never been to FroliCon. I have been invited before, but I haven't gone because it's usually very close to Kink Fest. And I don't have it in me to do 2 kink conventions that close together. So I have not. You're very welcome. See you next time. All right. 5 minutes left. Warning. Okay. Okay, I'm trying to get to another couple of things. What's the name of the podcast you mentioned? Stavi's World is the other podcast I mentioned. I specifically watched the highlights. He's a comedian. I think he used to be on Cumtown. And so there's some of the, it's kind of like that general, like liberal and progressive, but like they do like say the word gay as an insult sometimes, and I don't love that. And I'm like, do you have to say that still? Are we doing that again? But I like watching the highlights for insight into, you know, when people are calling in and being like, oh my God, I listened to one yesterday that was like, I lied to my wife about wanting to reverse my vasectomy. How can I fake get a vasectomy to convince my wife that I got it reversed without actually having to reverse my vasectomy? And it's like, bro, this woman's 37 and you wasted almost her entire fertile window to have children by lying to her, by promising to her continually that you would get your vasectomy reversed. And instead of being able to be a man and talk to her like a human being who's an adult, who you love, and that you want to have happiness for, you still can't just be like, hey, babe, I changed my mind. I don't want to get my vasectomy reversed. Jesus Christ almighty. People are cowards. People are cowards. I don't think I've watched Loey Lane. I watched Gabby Petito. Not Gabby Petito. What the fuck? Gabby? What's her name? Gabby? It's Gabby something. I watched Gabby. Maybe it's just Gabby. Maybe she just goes by Gabby. There's like some female content creator named Gabby I watch a little bit of occasionally. Chad and Boy Boy. It's funny because they both have repeating names. Love Chad, love Boy Boy. Listen to them a lot. Oh my gosh. I love I Did a Thing. That's like my favorite thing to like show people is I Did a Thing. Because I have a lot of mechanically minded people in my life. And I love watching the horror on their face when I show them the video of them turning a giant saw blade into a Beyblade. I love the sheer horror that occurs when you have somebody who builds things for a living having to watch a man without shoes on weld a fake Beyblade together out of a giant saw blade. That is my personal form of sadism. Yeah, Chad's great. I love her. Volunteered for gaming at Frolicon for 2 years now. First year I realized I was ace. I mean, conventions can cause many different realizations. Also, the thing with Frolicon is it is on the East Coast, and so it's quite a long trip for me. And also I have to pay somebody to like watch my dog, and it's a whole deal. So I'm not saying I would never go, but it's not as high priority for me as other like West. Oh, Gabby Bell. Yes, thank you. Thank you. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I confused Gabby Bell with Gabby Petito. I was thinking about YouTube and people named Gabby, and those were the two names I came up with, and I struck out. I've never heard of or watched Simon Whistler's content. I will keep it in mind, though. I wouldn't expect to see it go down in public in a convention. Yeah, the conventions I've gone to, like Kink Fest, there are definitely like blood play areas where people do like blood play and they have like Dexter rooms and stuff set up, but it's not the bulk. Yeah, it's evil. I know, I'm so evil. I'm so mean. Oh, I never said I'm not a sadist. I have to remind people of that occasionally. But yeah, that's my pleasure in life. Oh, I saw an article on, I think, Kinbaku Today that came out recently. They did interviews with like female Bakushi, and they gone through their archive to look at like original like old school Katana Club stuff for female Bakushi, and the couple of them were identified as sadistines, and I was like, what is that? What's a sadistine? Is this like a feminine form of the word sadist? I had like a brain blast moment. I had I had a psychic connection to this word, and I was like, that's the word. That is the word that describes. I don't know what it means. I Googled it. I could not find any information about the term sadistine. But I've decided that this is my identification word for the sadist portion of my brain, because it just makes sense. It just clicked. And when you have a brain clicking moment, you should listen to it. Is lying about getting your vasectomy reversed like reverse stealthing? Yes. Yes, it is. Especially when you're like, oh, babe, I don't know what's happening. I don't know why you can't get pregnant. First of all, if you already had a vasectomy for 10 years, even if you did get it reversed, it's probably not going to work anyways. So why are you lying to this woman? It's so crazy. Yes, Dexter rooms are intense, and they love it, and I love it, and I'm glad that they exist. I'm going to a fireplay class, top on the 9th. Ooh, good luck. Very fun. Don't get to do very much fireplay these days, because it's a little hard to find space for it. But enjoy it. It's a very fun thing. I think it's more sensory than people expect it to be. It's not as pain intense as people think it would be. What can I look into to learn more about the involvement of BDSM and activism? There's actually a really good podcast that What's a Safe Word does. What's it called? The Cigar Room, the Cigar Lounge, Cigar Salon. I think it's Cigar Salon. And they talk a lot about like the history of BDSM and like BDSM activism, and I would look for that. But I gotta go. It's 8 o'clock. My booty needs to get over to do some things this evening, so I'm gonna go take care of that. I'll talk to you again later. Stay safe, have fun, drink your water, wear your sunscreen, be kind to yourselves, and I will talk to you all again very soon. Bye!